convening. It's 12:09. Would the offender please state your name and your DOC number?
Kevin Andy Martin, DOC number 624583.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. My name is Alvin Roche. To my left is Ms. Pearl Wise. To my right is Mr. Pete Freeman. We're here for a parole hearing. Let me explain the process to you. I will read some information into the record. Once that information is in the record, we'll conduct a parole interview with you. At the appropriate time, we'll ask Warden Meyer for comments, concerns, observations, and then you have some guests present. Mrs. Anderson, the aunt of your children, Ms. Era Martin, your mother, Ms. Kevia Martin, your sister, Ms. Cassidy Anderson, the mother of your children, Douglas Anderson, your grandfather of your children, Ms. Veronica Johnson, your sister-in-law, Brittany Staten, a friend of the families, Antoine Martin, your brother, Susan Gilbert, the grandmother of children, Douglas Anderson, uncle of your sons, and Mr. Cameron Martin, your son. Your mother will be speaking. Ms. Kiva Martin, your sister, will be speaking, and Ms. Cassidy Anderson, the mother of your children, will be speaking. In opposition, we have Mr. Randall Meyer, Assistant District Attorney in Jefferson Parish, that would like to make a statement at the appropriate time. As all these individuals are finished with their statements, we'll give you a brief time where you can give a statement on your behalf. Do you understand the process?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Martin, you are currently, what, 36 years old? Mr. Martin, you're currently 36 years old?
Yes, sir.
And your first felony offender, your offense is racketeering. You were sentenced on January 5th, 2017, and you received a 10-year sentence. Also, you were sentenced on January 5th, 2017, and you were billed as an habitual offender for theft. You received 10 years, and that was running concurrently with the racketeering. And you were sentenced, and you had an original sentence in Orleans Parish on May 21st, 2014, and that was a simple damage to property where you got a 2-year sentence. With that sentence, and you were probably suspended, and you violated your supervision, and you were revoked on October 6, 2016, because you had committed another felony offense. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you had and that was a 2-year sentence, so that was ordered to be served and run consecutive with the 10-year sentence. So your total sentence is 12 years. Is that correct?
Sir.
Your parole date was April 5th, 2019. Your adjusted good time date, February 26th, 2026. And your full term date, March 26th, 2028. Is all this information correct?
Sure.
Speak up, young man.
Sir.
Is all this information correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's much better. Your case has been assigned to Mr. Freeman. Would you please answer Mr. Freeman's questions?
Okay, Mr. Martin, how old are you?
36.
And how long have you spent in jail on this charge?
7 years and 3 months, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. What's your educational level?
Well,
What was that you said, 12?
yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Where you graduated from?
John F. Kennedy.
Okay. You're charged with racketeering. Looked like y'all had a theft ring going on with cars. Tell me what was your involvement in that ring?
My involvement was I was helping people launder their money and helping them buy high-end cars and doing insurance scams and transporting large amounts of money.
Okay. Tell me about this domestic abuse battery on Miss Lee.
That was my girlfriend, and I was trying to get my things out the house, and I pulled the door handles off her door.
Did you do damage to the car?
Yes, sir. I took 4 of the door handles off.
Okay, you have a pretty good juvenile record. Criminal mischief, curfew violation, gambling in public, simple battery, possession of stolen property, and simple battery. That was all as a juvenile. There wasn't any records found on that. Your adult record is lengthy, to say the least. How long have you been involved in criminal activity? How old were you when you first got arrested?
At the age of 18, my real arrest record as an adult was 18.
Okay, so you went right from a juvenile to an adult, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you have opposition. The judge is unopposed, Miss Lori White, judge in New Orleans. District attorney doesn't make a comment. Your family's unopposed, that's your mother. And there is restitution. Miss Lee is mentioned restitution. You know, your rap sheet, I'm looking at it, and it's a lot of violent offenses. In 1204, you were arrested for 2 counts, first-degree murder. What was that about? Even though the charges were refused, what were you accused of doing?
I was accused of killing somebody, of a carjacking was supposed to go on, and they say I killed somebody, but I actually didn't.
Okay, did you carjack the car or not?
So the car never was taken.
Okay. Then you had an aggravated battery in 2006. It was refused. What was that about?
2006, I was locked up, sir.
A battery, 9/8/2006, New Orleans Police Department is refused.
2006, I was locked up, sir. I was in I wanna say I was in HOD, the House of Detention in New Orleans, if I'm not mistaken. I think I was locked up there, sir.
Okay, what about this other domestic abuse battery charge in 2010? There was no problem. What was that about?
Say that again, run that by me again, sir.
2010, arrested for domestic abuse battery.
Probably me and my girlfriend getting into it again.
Was it the same woman?
I'm not sure. I don't wanna lie, I'm not sure.
Okay, and you violated a protection order when doing that. What have you done about these anger issues? Have you taken any classes to address your anger?
Yes, sir, anger management.
What did you learn from anger management?
Learn from anger management, you gotta learn how to control your temper and walk away from a situation. You know, people will do things to make you act out. You just ignore the whole situation. Continue on about your business. Just leave. In this situation you've be put in, you know, you can avoid it. You can avoid it by leaving. Leave. Don't say nothing.
You had a hearing in 2018. What class have you taken since then?
I take anger management again, pre-release. I'm in nurturing and parenting right now. Right, that's it so far, and I have my certification for my forklift. I just received that 2 days ago, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, have you ever used drugs, alcohol?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay, so drugs, no alcohol. What's your transition plan?
Transition plan is,
Yeah.
I can hear you. Repeat that again.
Where will you live if you are to be released?
I will go by my mother until I get situated and start back working and everything. Now I stay there until I get everything back going again and get situated.
Okay. You had one write-up, which is good, but it was in 7 of 20 for fighting. What was that about?
A misunderstanding with me standing by the water fountain could have been avoided. Guy got up, acting out. I left that morning, started back, we started fighting.
Y'all just went at it when y'all got back around each other?
Yes, sir. I take full responsibility. 'Cause if I would have done like I was supposed to do and tell the higher authority, it could have been avoided. It could have been avoided, but I didn't. Take full
Okay.
responsibility.
Are you an AA and NA?
I took that, sir,
Okay, why did you take it if you don't have a drug problem?
because you don't necessarily have to have a drug problem to have a problem. Your addiction or your problem could be anything.
Okay.
And I have
Good answer. What's your problem? What's your addiction?
my addiction was having large amounts of money and multiple women.
Okay, I think you're being honest there. Why should I let you out?
I take full
Tell me that.
responsibility.
Give Mr. Freeman a reason to let you out of prison.
I take full responsibility for everything I ever committed, everything I ever done. I'm sorry that it happened. Sorry to my parents and everybody on this board. And help my children's mother with my children and continue on with my life and make sure they have a better life and they don't do the things I've done. I don't want the cycle to repeat itself. I missed out on a lot of things as far as graduations. My son's in high school now. I don't wanna miss no more graduations of them going to college or nothing. I don't want the cycle to repeat itself.
How many kids do you have?
I have 5 kids,
How many different parents? How many different mothers?
2.
Many two?
I have 4 by 1 woman and 1 by 1.
And you have contact with your kids, with all of them?
Talk to them all almost every day.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Warden, what can you tell me about, Mr. Martin?
Well, Mr. Freeman, obviously in the last answer, he's enrolled in nurturing parent as he should be. So I obviously want to see him complete that class. You know, as you mentioned, he only has 1 ride up since he's been with us, which is good. Misunderstandings do happen in prison. But conduct record decent. He's had some good programming, but I'd like to see him complete the nurturing parent. And I also believe victim impact would be very beneficial for him because of, you know, all of the domestic violence, different things. Although, you know, he had a lot of victims, and so we can get him in that. So, you know, if the board sees fit to grant him, maybe it could be with the stipulation that he complete that prior to. I'd make sure he was enrolled in the next class.
I think, Ward, y'all have a detainer on him for Mississippi?
There he is. Yes, sir. There is an open detainer. And I
Okay.
believe it's connected with a lot of this stuff in the incarcerated.
Okay. All right, that's all the questions I have, Mr. Roche. I'll make a recommendation at the proper time.
What do you do at Prison Enterprise? What do you do every day now?
I used to sew clothes for the garment factory, make clothes for other prisons.
Okay.
That's what they do over there.
Now, what's your job now?
Well, I'm a Dom Marley. I'm a Dom Marley right now.
Okay, so what happened to that job in Prison Enterprise?
I lost my job. They say lack of work. That what they say, lack of work.
Oh, okay. Okay. Because you done it for about 3 years, huh? As sewing machine operator.
Yes, ma'am. I'm planning on going back also,
Going back to where?
back to Prison Enterprise, to the garment
Wait.
factory.
When?
I'm trying to get in there as soon as possible.
Oh, okay, okay. Oh, they said you weren't keeping up with production, huh?
Probably moving a little bit slow. You have your days.
Oh, okay, okay. That's true. That's true. All right, that's all I have, Jim.
Mr. Martin,
Yes, sir.
a young man, you got a bad memory. When Mr. Freeman asked you, why were you arrested in June of 2006? You said you were incarcerated.
Yes, sir.
According to your master record, you were released from the Orleans Parish Justice Center on February 3rd, 2006.
I
And
was-
you weren't reincarcerated until your conviction in Jefferson Parish in 2014. So you were released, and you probably did get arrested for aggravated battery. Do you remember what that was for?
To my knowledge, 2006, I was locked up, right? And then got out in 2007.
No, 2006.
I couldn't,
Released 2/13.
couldn't have been.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, you're released from the Orleans Justice Center on February 13, 2006.
2006, I'm not arguing, sir. I'm not talking back. I never was released. I never were released. I didn't get released.
Sir, the record is incorrect. I'm reading from the record. Warden Myers, do you have the same thing?
Well, yes, sir. My records, officer can help you out a little bit with that, I believe.
Yeah, so at the time, it was a evac transfer, so they to keep pretrial, to know where they're going back and forth when they need an evac and everything like that, they make them their trans, but they closed out him when he got back. So that doesn't mean he released from jail, that just means that he wasn't being looked at as a DOC offender at the moment.
And the next record we have of him is in Jefferson Parish in 2014. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir, sir, I got, while you're there, sir, on that screen, they got extradition also listed. So explain why that's posted like that. 'Cause that's new for me.
Where's
On
that?
file, on his transfer screen, they got extradition in Mississippi. Is that because the paperwork was done or what? See,
Which-
513 on the transfer screen, 51322, extradition Mississippi, and then 52522.
They extradited it back for the charges.
Yeah, he went to the court in Mississippi and then was brought back to Louisiana.
Oh, okay, I just want to be sure, okay.
Okay. Let's hear from Ms. Ariel Martin. His mother, would you please open your mic? Ms. Martin? Yes, ma'am. You muted it again. There you
Hello?
go. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Could you give us your statement, please?
Sound like it's breaking up. I'm at work. I'm working on the Navy base, Bell Chase, and it got bad connection, sir. I barely can hear you.
Give us
Hello?
your statement. Give us your statement.
Give you one, sir. I can't hear you.
What would you like us to know about yourself?
About myself?
Are you about your son?
By Kevin Martin.
Oh, my son? Yes, my son, he is a good son. And I'm just ready for him to come home and do what he have to do with his kids and everything. We miss him a whole lot. They miss him, the whole family miss him, and I just pray and hope he come home with us and do what he have to do, take care of his kids.
Thank you, Ms. Martin.
Thank you, welcome, sir.
Okay, well, Ms. Kevia Martin, open your mic, please. Ms. Kevia Martin.
Oh, she's coming. He's coming. He's coming, sorry.
Ms. Kevia Martin.
There she goes.
Ms. Martin. Would you unmute your mic? Would you please unmute the mic? Let's go to Ms. Cassidy Anderson. Ms. Anderson, would you please open your mic?
Won't do it.
Ms. Anderson, you're still muted.
Hi,
How you doing? Ms. Anderson, would you please give us your statement?
I am the mother of Kevin's 4 kids. It's been a long time trying to raise 4 boys on my own without the help of their father, just verbal communication. Our kids are older now. Kevin and I have had issues in the past. I think Kevin has overcome his issues. He's been dealing with anger better. He's matured over the past 7 years. I mean, I have times where the kids are really depressed because they want their daddy and they can't have him. We have athletic boys. I have had a child to have to go through anger management classes because he's at the football games and he's at practice and he have his peers that have their dad there, but he don't have his dad. He has 4 successful boys. I mean, they're not in the streets. They, like I said, they play sports, but it's hard doing it by myself. In the world we're living in today, they could be doing other things, but they chose the right path. But they do miss their dad. They do miss their dad, and I wish that you all would allow the kids a chance. His clemency isn't until 2026. I believe that's what you said. In 2026, his oldest son will be graduating high school. Kevin will miss all of that with his kids, and it makes me emotional because my kids want their daddy there, and it's normally I can control things when they're unhappy, but this is something I can't control. And I know with him speaking to them and seeing the milestones that they're making and improving and accomplishing, and he's not there to be with them, it makes him emotional as well. So yeah, I just would like him. Yeah, before he went, I know that he was into trucking, ready to learn how to drive 18-wheelers. I hope he could get back into that and take care of his boys with me. It's a real struggle with the kids, but I got it. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Cassidy.
You're welcome.
Now, let's try to get, Ms. Kiva Martin. Ms. Martin? Give us your statement, Ms. Martin.
I'm just ready for Kevin to make it home. We all miss him, and he been gone for too long. And like Chastity said, he have 4 boys, and he have a daughter as well. So we all need him to come home, like, cause he just been locked down for too long, and we miss him.
Thank you, Ms. Martin.
You're welcome.
Kevin, would you like to give us a brief, 1 second, Kevin, before you give that statement? I want to recognize Mr. Randall Myers, Assistant District Attorney from Jefferson Parish, this time. Mr. Myers.
Good morning, Randall Myers, Assistant DA, Jefferson Parish, and we're opposed at this time. He has that extradition open. Is had limited programming, only anger management and free release. He had agreed, the record in there says he had agreed to go to Blue Walters, and I don't see in the record anywhere that he has gone to Blue Walters, that he's completed Blue Walters. He's got an extensive and violent criminal record and poor supervision. So for those reasons, we would be opposed to his request, and that if he is released at some point, we would ask that the restitution be ordered. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Myers. Now, Kevin, give us a brief statement.
Thank y'all for giving me another shot. I'm asking y'all, can y'all please give me a chance? Just give me one chance. That's all I'm asking, please. I take full responsibility, everything I ever done. I'm just asking y'all, please give me a shot. That's all I want. I just want one shot. This is one. That's all I'm asking for. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you, Kevin. Is the panel ready to vote?
Yes.
Mr. Freeman?
Okay, Kevin, listen to you today. You know, you've had lengthy criminal history, although you're still just the first felony offender. My vote today is I'm gonna take a chance. I'm gonna grant you parole conditionally on you completing the parenting class and a victim impact program, which I'm sure the warden will get you into immediately. Once you are released from Mississippi and come back here within 2 weeks, I want you to report to the New Orleans Day Reporting Center for an evaluation to see if you need any more anger management or domestic abuse classes. I also ordered a probation office to determine restitution to the victim.
Thank you, Mr. Freeman. Ms. White.
Kevin, I was on the panel, back in 2019, when you came, and I voted to grant, and that's my vote again this time. I'm glad that you kept it, you stayed positive. You didn't get any write-ups. The warden still had positive comments about you, and you still got good family support. So my vote is to grant as well. I concur with the conditions set by Mr. Freeman, with the added condition that I want you to enroll in general counseling. And that's to begin about 6 months after release. And one thing about working with a counselor, if you don't jive with that counselor, fire that counselor and get somebody else. Because you need a counselor you can really talk to. And that's gonna be important. Because you got all those eyes looking at you, with all those kids looking at you, and you need a place so you can get the help that you need as an individual. Best wishes to you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Martin, we have received 2 votes to grant your request. I'm really torn between giving you more time. You need substance abuse, you need victim awareness, you need a lot of things, Kevin. But I'm going to agree with my colleagues, and I'm going to vote to grant you conditionally upon completing the parenting class and the victim impact class. And any other program that Warden Myers think you need and you can complete in 9 months.
Okay,
After completing those programs, you will be released. Upon release, I want you to have a curfew from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. I want you to enroll in general counseling. I want you to report to the New Orleans Day Reporting Center, where you will get a evaluation for substance abuse and domestic abuse. And I want you to follow all recommendations of those evaluations. Do you understand the conditions?
yes, sir.
Mr. Martin, you have been issued a golden ticket. It's left up to you whether you use it or you abuse it. If you abuse that golden ticket, you will be right back sitting next to Warden Myers in the next 5 or 10 years. You understand?
Yes, sir.
You have received 3 votes to grant your release conditionally upon completing a program that you enrolled in, plus victim impact or any other program Warden Myers thinks you need to complete. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
It would have been a hard one for me to deny him. I'm happy with the results. It's, you know, when you have so much support show up, it makes such a difference in my mind. For me, it was his, was it his girlfriend? I'm just cutting in to let you know we'll do a hearing after this one. So, yeah, there's also two of me. The mother of his sons that won me over. You know, these kids are athletes doing well in school, and she says, you know, there's problems that have come up over, you know, anger issues, and the dad's never there for the sports, and you know, we forget all of that trauma that we don't forget, but it's important to be reminded how devastating it can be. To everyone around them. It was I thought his answer was kind of funny. It's like, well, what were you doing this for? And it's like, well, why did you attend AA and NA? Mr. Freeman asked him, and he said, my addiction was having large amounts of money and lots of women. And he like laughs. It's got to be hard for Randy Meyer, the assistant DA, to show up and be like the only man in the room talking in opposition when you have all of these screens and they're big. Okay, so Mandu, nice to meet your past self. It's interesting. You guys were telling me that you like having these multiple hearings back to back. So I said, you know what, I'll go tie this one with the second one. So I re-recorded it. I didn't realize I'd be wearing the same shirt. I didn't plan that. So it's that's just, that was a coincidence. Like let my loved one out, and he has to say, you know, I don't want him out. It's got to be tough. But I'm rooting for him. I really am. You know, it was interesting. Mr. O'Shea thought he caught him in something. He's like, yeah, you have a bad memory for a young man. But no, it turned out he was being honest. He couldn't have committed that crime because he was actually locked up. So they had the wrong record. And lucky for him that he did. But yeah, you know, there's not much to talk about here except for the fact that I really hope that okay, I'm boring myself. I have definitely had better unpackings in my life. Sometimes I just have nothing to say. You know. So with that, let's jump in.
Good morning, Warden Meyer, how are you?
Morning, Mr. O'Shea, everyone doing good.
Good. The committee on parole is reconvening. It's 11:24 a.m. and our next remote location is the Raymond Laborde Correctional Center in Cottonport, Louisiana. With the staff at Raymond Laborde, please introduce yourself.
Sir, good morning, Warden Marcus Myers. Everyone, please turn.
Raven Hughes classification with the Joshua record.
Thank you, Ward Nine. Would the offender please, give his full name and his Department of Corrections ID?
Vernon Mack, 379560.
Thank you, Mr. Mack. Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Alvin Roche. Ms. Pearl Wise is to my left, and Mr. Pete Freeman is to my right. Let me explain the process to you. I will read some information into the record. We will verify that information at the appropriate time. So give Warden Meyer a chance to make comments, observations, concerns. And then we have a large amount of support here and on Zoom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you we have Miss Marcella Jones, aunt, on Zoom. We have Sandra Winfrey, an aunt, on Zoom. We have Manisha Watson, a niece, on Zoom. We have a Miss Gray, a niece, on Zoom. Danisha Taylor, a niece, on Zoom. And we have India Winfrey, your daughter, on Zoom, and she would like to speak. We have Miss Darlene Gray, a sister in person, and she's here in support. Miss Paulina Watson, a sister in person, and she would like to speak on your behalf. Then we have a Miss Ray, a cousin.
Oh, must be Keanu Ray, I'm sorry.
Gallery, a cousin. Miss Jasmine Watson, a niece, on Zoom. Dominique Watson, a niece, on Zoom. And we have Charles Edward McCoy, uncle, who would like to speak on Zoom. And lastly, Cheryl Ray, your aunt in person, and she would like to speak. So we have 4 people speaking. We only allow 3. So who? And you are? Okay. Your sister Pauline is out. So speaking in your behalf is Miss India Winfrey, your daughter.
India didn't sign up to speak. I'm not speaking.
Okay, so we can put Pauline back on, okay? So speaking, it would be Miss Watson, your uncle, Charles Edward, and your aunt, Cheryl Ray. Okay. After all that's completed, Mr. Mack, you'll be given an opportunity to make a brief statement on your behalf. Do you understand the process?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mr. Ray, you're currently 45 years old,
Yes, sir.
and you're a second felony offender. Your offense is armed robbery. You were sentenced in East Baton Rouge Parish on April 7th, 1998. You were sentenced to a 50-year sentence. At the time of sentence, you were given 164 days of jail credit. And records show that you have lost 311 days good time, and none of that good time has been restored. Is that correct?
Sir.
So you mustered up 400 and 26 days of good time, and you've lost most of them. Am I correct? Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Your parole date was November 2nd, 2022. Your adjusted good time date is March 6th, 2040. Your good time, your full term date is October 25th, 2047. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Wise has done your case. Would you please answer Mrs. Wise's question?
Thank you, Chairman. Good morning. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How's it going?
Going all right?
You nervous?
Yes, ma'am.
This your first hearing?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, good. All right. But we all just here to talk about you. That's all. We just gonna talk about you. Count out for the record how long you've served on this 50-year sentence.
Got 26 years.
You've done 26 years? Okay. How much education do you have?
Education is kind of slow.
Say again. Say it again.
Education slow. I'm slow with my education.
Okay, because you were enrolled in GED and you quit in 2011. Have you gotten back in since then?
I had took state test
Okay, and when was that?
2018.
2018?
Yes, ma'am.
And well, what was the outcome of that? You remember?
Oh, ma'am.
Okay, so what are your feelings about HISET? What's your views on that?
I was gonna plan on if I was to make parole to get a high set once I get home.
Oh, so what do you do every day?
Work in the kitchen.
What do you do in the kitchen?
A baker.
Huh?
A baker.
You're a baker, okay. Okay, what grade did you drop out of regular school?
Made it to 11.
Say what now?
Made it to 11.
You made it to the 11. Okay, were you in regular classes then?
I was in slow class, special ed, like.
Okay, okay. But did you ever get SSI?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Do you know what your diagnosis was?
No,
You
ma'am.
ever say why you never had an examination to tell you why you weren't learning as fast as everybody else?
No, ma'am.
Okay, no, that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. I look at you, you have a juvenile record. You got arrested at age 15 for being ungovernable. What were you doing? What was life like for you when you were 15?
Growing up with a single parent mother, no father.
Okay. Do you remember what was going on in your head?
Just trying to get out, try to help my mother.
Okay. When you say help my mother, what does that mean?
Pay
Tell
the
me what.
bills.
Huh? Say what?
Try to help out with the bills.
Okay. So is that the motivation for all these theft charges?
Yes, ma'am. I was trying to help out with the bills and I was trying to better myself at the same time, so I try not to commit no more crime.
So but okay, so you were committing theft, you said, to support your family. How do you rank in the family? How many brothers and sisters do you have?
I have 2 sisters, 1 brother.
And how do you rank for his age? You the second child, the what?
The baby.
You the baby?
Ma'am.
Okay. Like you the baby, you the family. Okay. See, like every time you were on supervision, you got revoked. Well, tell me what's it all about?
I had got revoked on one charge because I had caught this here at charge here, the armed robbery charge, and I had revoked myself.
Yeah, that's what the record shows. I want to know what was going on with you. I know that part. What was going on with you? So supervision didn't change your thing? That's what I'm asking.
No, man, I just wasn't reporting in.
Let's talk a little bit about this crime that you're got this 50 years on, because you were on probation when you committed this crime, right?
Yeah.
And that's very disturbing to me. So what was going on that day? Take us back to that. As far as you can remember.
Really, when I committed the armed robbery, I really wasn't doing no thinking at the time of nothing.
Okay.
So maybe I could pull off a robbery and get away with it. First time trying it. I tried it, didn't work, didn't like it.
That wasn't your first time trying it, was it? You said it was your first time trying a robbery?
My first time doing an armed robbery.
Oh, having a gun, you said. Is that what you said?
I had a simple burglary charge before that. Was my first armed robbery.
Okay, your first armed robbery. Okay, I can hardly hear you. Okay. One of the things that states in police report, and you can tell me whether this is true or false, was that you said I was meant to be caught, and then you said I should have shot him, then it would have been no. Do you remember saying that?
Yes, ma'am.
But what did you mean by I was meant to be caught?
It wasn't meant for me to pull off no robbery. It wasn't meant for me to commit no crime. I was trying something that I shouldn't have tried, that I was trying something that I saw.
Do you see yourself as a person that knows right from wrong?
Now I do, ma'am.
Now you do?
Yes, ma'am.
But at that time, you didn't know right from wrong.
I mean, I wasn't in the right state of mind.
Were you on the influence of any kind of drugs or alcohol or anything?
Use drugs.
Huh?
I ain't use drugs.
You didn't use drugs, so you were sober. You were sober.
Yes, ma'am.
As a part of this process, we will reach out to the victim's family, and the victim's family is opposed to your early release. Nothing you can do about it, but I just want to state that on the record. You also have law enforcement opposition to your early release, and I'm just stating that for the record. Those are opinions that we get that factors in to making our decision. When I look at your case, have you counted up how old you will be when you get out on good time?
You up in my 60s, probably early 70s.
Yeah, well, if my math is correct, you'll be 63. So you're working in the kitchen, but you're also taking victim impact, right? You got enrolled in that in April, right?
I graduated from it.
Graduated, great, great.
From victim impact.
That's good to hear. What did you learn?
I learned that not just that they are victim, that my family and everyone else is a victim as well as the crime that I committed. That I didn't just hurt my family or the victim family, I hurt the community and everyone else.
Okay. Now, if you had an opportunity to speak to the victim's family, what would you say?
I would rather tell them that I'm sorry, and that the crime that I committed, I know that I can't take back what I had done, but I'm very sorry for the crime that I committed, and that it will never happen again. And I've got to pay them in any kind of way that I have to.
You would say what now? I didn't hear that last part.
I try to pay them in any kind of way that I would have to pay them, and If any help that they need, I will be there to try to help them.
Okay. Well said, well said. The record shows that you're the father of 2 children. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
What's the ages of your children?
Both of my children are grown.
Okay, okay. What kind of relationship do you have with them?
I talk to my daughter off and on.
Okay, what about the other child?
I haven't talked to my son since he was born.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Okay. So that's 2 different mothers?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Let's talk about your write-ups. What's going on in your disciplinary?
I was young at the time when I used to catch the write-ups and everything. I was fresh into the institution. A lot of the write-ups that I caught, I was young, fresh into the system, and then don't know better. Over the years, I got wise and I'm catching the write-up.
Okay, that's good to hear. Yeah, that's what we say too. As you get older, you get wiser. So your last write-up was in 21. There was a 5. And what was going on there? July 19 to 20.
Aggravated disobedience, refused to dress out, get a haircut.
I can't hear you. I can't understand.
For aggravated disobedience, when I first came up here, I got wrote up for refusing to dress out.
You was refusing to dress out.
Refusing to put the other state blues on.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Okay. And you got 10 days in segregation for that, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And then before that, February 21, you had a 28. What was that all about?
Aggravated work offense.
Yeah, what was that about?
Didn't report to work.
And why is that?
I had went to work, but I had went late. I got rolled up.
Okay, okay. And when I look at your history, then 21, and then in 20, you had write-ups, 2 write-ups in 20. I won't go into them. But we are in 23, so you are turning the corner and stop getting write-ups. What changed? When did you learn about this parole hearing?
I had learned from the parole hearing right after I had made it up here in 21.
Oh, okay, okay. Right after you made it up here, right after you get out of
When I came from Angola to RLCC.
Oh, okay, okay. So are you telling me that when you got that write-up on July 19th, you knew a parole hearing was coming up?
Oh, ma'am.
Huh?
Oh, ma'am.
You found out after you got after you got your last write-up? I mean, I'm not clear on that. You might be telling me, but I'm not hearing. When did you find out that you had at least a possibility of parole?
Found out after I had came to general population.
Okay, okay, okay. Well, that's a very good motivation for change behavior. Very good. So if you're successful today, tell me, where would you live and how would you support yourself?
I'll try to find me 2 jobs and stuff once I get out.
And where would you live?
I'll be living with my sister.
Okay. Okay.
I have
Wait, go ahead. That's okay. That's okay. The system will get the address and all that.
have an ad that has some information with jobs lined up for me to look at.
Who has that?
My auntie Marcella.
Oh, okay. Good. Good. Yeah. Good. Good. Now, because according to the records, now you've been in jail. You said 26 years. You've had 60 write-ups in the 26 years that you've been in jail. I'm just stating that for the record. Gordon, anything you want to tell us about this young man? Thank you for answering my question.
Wow.
Oh, yes, Mr. Wise. I mean, as you know, that write-up he got in 21, that was the day he arrived here. And I'm sure the parole hearing is a good motivation, but I also like to think that we're helping him out because, as he had a extensive disciplinary history when he was in Angola. A lot of guys do, but he's done a lot better since he's been here. You referred to his education, and we discussed that yesterday in our meeting with him. He was TABE tested in 2018. He didn't make it through the 11th grade, and my education department tells me that it would take him about 6 months to a year to get his GED. So I would like to see him do that. I think that would benefit him greatly. And he is, he's currently enrolled in my Boys to Men program. As y'all heard me mention that before. That's a self-help program that, that we created here that, he doesn't earn any good time for it. He did that voluntarily on his own. So I'm happy to see him in that, and I'd like to see him complete that as well. He's got a little work to do. I think that the education in this program will help him out great.
Thank you, Warren. I appreciate it. That's all I had, Jim.
Warren, excuse
Go
me.
ahead.
Warren, what were the two contraband write-ups in 19 and 20?
Mr. Freeman, I don't have those in front of me right now. What were they? You remember what they were? Or not? One of the contrabands. Hold on. I do. I'm sorry, I do. They have it over there. The boxing in 2019, some boxing strips.
Okay.
And she's telling me a cell phone was the other.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Mack, what were the aggravated fights about?
One aggravated fight that occurred for me when I was in Angola was behind a guy playing homosexual game with me. The other aggravated fight occurred when I was at work where someone threw something on me and you get rolled up for aggravated fight.
Somebody threw something on you?
Yeah, and I threw something back.
Okay. If there's no more questions, we'd like to hear from his uncle, Charles Edward McCoy. Would you please open your mic?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, please state your name and your relationship with the offender.
Okay, my name is Charles Edward McCoy, and I am his uncle.
Give us your statement.
I'm sorry.
Give us your statement.
Oh, my statement. I'm sorry. Yes, sir. Well, since Vernon, well, like I say, he's been locked up. He and I have talked quite often. We talk mainly a lot of times about his case. As far as casework, he's pretty much, gotten really knowledgeable about, far as, like the laws and everything. He's held quite a few little odd and end jobs here and there, like say, which, kind of like say, pretty much built his character. And, like I've tried to help him out as much as I possibly could, rather be, like say, either between advice or there'd be sometimes when he might need, a little something, I try to, send him a little, something. I know his sister's been, has been helping him out too. But, like I say, his attitude has changed quite, considerably. He tried, like say, basically like a lot of those, as I was listening, those aggravated deals, he's really not done anything really to anybody unless they, started on him first. And like a lot of times, well, I'm not saying, it's right far as a fight, but well, prison is prison. I imagine you would have to keep, the other person off you. But, like say he's he's had like a few like the reentry programs, the victim awareness and all of that. And
Mr.
I'm
McCall,
sorry.
would you
Yes,
wrap
sir.
it up? Would you wrap it up, please?
Yes, yes, sir. Well, like I say, Vernon, like I say, she's changed up quite a bit, and of course, if it ever had, that was ever needed, he can, he's welcome in my house, and also, like say, it is time, and he deserves it for him to be released, paroled or what have you. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Mr. McCall. Can we hear from his aunt, Ms. Cheryl Bray?
Yes, sir. Hi, good
Okay,
morning.
you can stand for. Just give your name and your relationship to the offender.
My name is Cheryl Gray, and I'm Vernon's aunt. And his uncle and I were married, and 1 month after we were married, Vernon came to live at our home. And I always told him he was my first baby. I had to drop him off at Rosenwald. It was an adult learning center. And I did not like the environment. So I learned early on that academically he was behind because I tested his reading. So I became very disturbed and upset with the school system because I didn't understand how they had advanced him and he was unable to read. So at that point, I brought him to the Sheridan Adult Learning Center. And they agreed to help me with him. And so that he wouldn't be embarrassed, they were taking him in a separate room to help him with his learning. And at that time, his uncle got him a job where he was working. He was 19 years old. And he's named after his dad. He was also Vernon Mack. And he has a record in Angola. So when we call Vernon school. So when he went, I think he was trying to get his dad's image and be like his dad. Was raised in church, come a family that believes in God, that has both morals and back. Tried to instill the right thing to do. But at that time, I don't even know he had an understanding and he hadn't been properly diagnosed. And he did have the opportunity to help two young men while in Angola. At that time, I was serving as youth director in my church. And they had these two young men that were going astray. So I thought it was a good idea for them to bring them along with me and my family to Angola to visit with Vernon. So I brought these two young men, and they were from the Northdale community. And I brought them to visit Vernon. So when we got there, I was always emotional because of the love that I had for him. And I asked school, Vernon.
That's okay, school is fine.
I asked if he would speak to them privately. So I allowed him and another gentleman at Angola to take them to another paper to speak to them as truthful men. And it was me and my family, my sisters and their husbands, who were all there. And I don't know what took place in the conversation. This has been years. So thank you, gentlemen. One is an engineer today and one is a teacher. Whatever that conversation was, it put them on the straight and narrow path. Vernon You know, he came in. His mom, still did drugs, trying to overcome drugs. His dad was responsible. We had a lot of odds against him when he came into my life. And my sisters and I, at that time, we didn't have any children. So we just took him as our baby. And just wanted to love on him, show him a better life. So I'm just praying that God allows him another opportunity. Because he was 19. So I just thank y'all again. Whatever the decision is, we just accept it. Thank you for your time.
Ms. Ray, you're more like an adopted mother than an aunt. Thank you for your statement. Now we're going to hear from Ms. Pauline Watson, his sister. Please give us your full name and your relationship to the family.
Pauline Watson, and I'm his oldest sister. Auntie just kind of like, I don't know how I'm gonna come back from that, but I mean, we always hurt because everybody in the family, even though he was the baby, we, tried to, but, we can tell him, like the old folks say, you can lead him to the water, but you can't make him drink. And that's how it was. And we hate that it took him to go to jail. And when he got in, he still had that mentality of he was out on the street. And I'm the sister that didn't take all that and would tell him, no, that's not right. And I was the one he wouldn't call because he knew I was going to get on him. And I'm like, how are you going to be able to get out in the world when you still have the same mentality? So we all encouraged him and supported him and told him, look, you have to do the right thing. And you have to distance yourself from the people that you're hanging with, because they're going to be in there and you're still going to be in there, but you want to come home. If you want to come home, you have to do the right thing. And I'm very proud of him because over the years he has shown it. And I was the first one to tell him, he gets it now. He's changed. He's more humble. Even in the words when we would sit at the table, when we visit him, it was just totally different. And my grandmother, she died, and I wish she was here because she was one of his biggest fans. And she always told me, don't give up on him. And I never did. And I always would push him and talk to him. If it took me cursing him out to get it, that's what I did. If don't call me if you're not going to do right. And of course, two people that was locked up and they would always give us feedback if he was doing the right thing. If he hang around this person and we could tell him, he never knew how we knew this. We didn't tell him. But he have came a long way. We have talked about education. That's my twin sister. He's gonna live with her. And I think that's the best because I'll be more harder on him, but she's not gonna be soft on him, but he'll do better with her. And he have came a long way. He's not perfect, nobody's perfect. It took a lot of stuff that he did in there, and I didn't understand. And I'm what? Why? Just why? Why would you do that? But he have. And I hope you guys will let him come home. And we all have been talking to different places for getting him jobs. And I have a friend of mine that they give people that come out of jail opportunity to get a job as well as disabled people. It's called up there. And my other auntie, she been looking into some places as well. And I think he's sorry for what he did. He really is. He talked about that a lot. But like I told him, I was going to move forward. What are you going to do moving forward? How are you going to change it? How are you going to impact somebody else when you come out and tell them your story, your testimony, so they won't go down the same path. Even his son, talk to your son and let him know that's not where you want to be. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Pauline,
Sir,
is Ms. Pauline going to be a good chair?
I can't hear you.
Is she going to be a good chair?
A good chef?
Share.
Oh, yeah, look.
Yes, she is, because I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna be on him. So she really, she's not as hard as me, but she's hard too.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Vernon,
Yes, sir.
want to give us a brief statement before we vote?
Sorry for the crime that I committed, and I hope that y'all find y'all hard to grant me parole.
Ms. Wise?
Yes.
Are we ready to vote?
Yes, we are. That's the loudest I heard you speak the whole time I was interviewing with you. That last statement, that was the loudest I heard you speak. And what I'm about to say is gonna be hard. It really is hard, but I do believe it's what's best for you. And it's just my vote. For me, I want you to hear not yet is what I say. Not no, but just not yet. My vote is a deny because I agree with the warden. You need to get that high set. You need to get the further programs. I need a longer period right up free. And I want you to cooperate with the education department and make that a priority and come out with your high set and any other program that you can take at this time. There is victim opposition and there's law enforcement opposition. And I urge you to reapply as soon as you're eligible for a hearing and have all of your family here with you. But they need to see that you continue to control yourself. You've done it for 2 years now, so you can keep it up. Not yet. That's what you see.
Mr. Freeman?
I concur with Ms. Wise for the same reason.
Mr. Mack? Mr. Mack, listen to me good. You need the GED. And I know that you have some disabilities. I'm dyslexic. I wasn't diagnosed, but I worked through it. I had to work a little harder than everybody else to get it. But if you work really hard, follow the guidance of Warden Meyer, take the programs, Warden Myers will do his best to get you enrolled in that GED program. He'll give you help when it's left up to you. When you're almost finished with that GED, reapply. Reapply. With additional programming, with some education under your belt, you will be successful when you are released. The name of the game is not be released, but stay released when you are released. It is our responsibility to see that you have everything you need to be successful when you are released. And you don't have everything right now. So my vote is the same as Mrs. Wise and Mr. Freeman. It's not no, it's not yet. Good luck, young man.
Thank you all so much.
Thank y'all for
Thank
coming.
y'all.
Yeah, thank y'all so much.
I had no idea Mr. Jackson was dyslexic. I think almost 600 hearings, and I don't recall him ever saying that. I do recall there being many scenarios where he could have mentioned it. I am dyslexic. I've been, when you talk about, there are different levels of dyslexic, because I was in special ed with a friend who could not read a stop sign, still can't. Like a street sign. When he sees a street sign, it could say North Palisades, and he every time he looks at it, he has to process that N is N, O is O, so no. forth, right? It's every single time. And he really can't read or write. And that's a level of dyslexia that he was a very close friend of mine, that I had seen, versus me. I could always read and write, although my spelling would be off. When I still use I use Grammarly for almost any email I write. And before Grammarly, and as I was growing up, I would have my father help me with my work. And this is my work emails. This could be, I'm in my 30s and I'm still having help. I've never had a passing report card in my life. I didn't know how to tie my laces until I was like 11 years old. I used to have these spaghetti laces because I just didn't know how to tie a bow. So there are certain aspects of learning disability that I get. And it's a real thing. It's not so simple just to say go do it and do it. But it was, I think Miss Wise kind of hit it best when he said, when he gave his final statement, she's like, "That's the loudest I've heard you speak." I mean, he just seems to be missing kind of like that basic social, if the word is institutionalized, this is kind of what comes to mind. We've seen people that spend 20, 30 years in prison and give an appearance like they've been free their whole life. So I don't know, but one thing he does have is family support. They got a full Zoom room for him, and that's something that you can't teach, you can't learn, you can't just make happen. That he has going for him. They were nice in the rejection. They want to see him go put in the effort and figure out how to get his GED. Not that it could be worth anything for him in the real world, but at least I guess they just want to see him put in work. Anyways. It was a tough hit in many ways, but the result was also, it seems, expected, and at least they were respectful, nice about it. But with that, I'll let you go. All right. With that, I'll let you go. It's interesting when they'll look at all of this Dr. Grande stuff. This hearing right here, Monster Does the Unthinkable. I'm not going to do it now, but I do want to do this hearing again. It just doesn't have a lot of views, and I think it's one of the worst. It's hard to say the worst anymore because of how bad so many of them are. But it's up there. I'm checking how many views it has. I'm telling you, YouTube's search feature is so bad. I'm in my own dashboard typing in a monster, and it doesn't show up in my own search dashboard. It's just like, okay, I got it now. Where's the analytic thing? Oh, it does have views. What am I saying? It has 41,000 views. Okay. I didn't realize it had that many. Good. For some reason, I thought it only had 5,000. 41,000 people have seen this monster. Okay, never mind. I changed my mind. It's too many to do a rehearing of it. But it's one of the. If you haven't seen it, trigger warning. But anyways, I don't have much more to add. Just thank you for being here. Thank you all for the support. Thank you, beautiful mods. And I'll see you at the next one. And with that, I'll let you go.